Welcome back to the AskPeople series. This is episode 17, and this week we are going to be asking everyone if there is a place that holds a special value to them. So without further ado, let's get to it.
Hey, hi, my name's Adam.
Hi, I'm Anita.
Hi, I'm Campbell.
Hi there, my name is Cameron Gibson.
Hi, I'm Hannes.
Hi, I'm Jamie Stewart.
Hi, my name is Jonathan.
Hi, my name is Maureen.
Hi, I'm Paul Reagan.
Hi, my name is Sophia.
Hey everyone, my name is T-Kid.
A place? Not really, because to be honest, I don't really remember all the places that I've been to. I'm not gonna lie. And I like traveling around, so I don't really kind of like attach myself to one place. But I mean, I love Edinburgh. I mean, I'm not from here. I didn't grow up here, but I've been living here for 5 years now. And I came here when I was 19. So it's just at the brink of like being legal. I can do whatever I want, away from my family. So I kind of found myself here. So I guess Edinburgh's pretty special.
Yeah, so there's a couple of places I would say. I think my childhood home, for sure, was a really, really special place. And actually, not so much anymore because I've got kind of ideas of moving abroad. But when I was like a kind of older teenager, I had this kind of aspiration to one day earn enough money to buy that house back, which was a cool idea, but not really on my radar anymore. Outside that, my parents had a holiday home up on the west coast of Scotland, just outside Oban. When I was a kid, I used to spend sort of summers there, and it's in this tiny little village in the middle of nowhere, and you don't get phone signal there. They didn't get broadband till like 2013 or something, so like there wasn't even really internet access. So it was a really cool place to go because you could just like everyone switched off. Like my dad used to switch off from work because he couldn't do work when he was up there. And yeah, it's just like a really nice place where I feel like I kind of, I guess like had a lot of nice experiences as a kid.
Question 17. Is there a place that holds a special value to you?
So I've moved around quite a bit. I've moved, I think, to 8 countries now. And I think that every place holds a little bit of me in it. I have a little bit of myself in tour shops and in pubs and in certain flats on certain streets that are really sentimental to me. But it's the people that I value the most, because I think that places are sentimental, but people are the ones that you can share that sentimentality with. So if I had to choose, it's the people that I've met in those places. And it's a lot of places that are really important to me.
There isn't a specific place, at least not at the moment, because I've been stuck at home for nearly a year. But kind of during my life, there's been special places during different parts of my life. For a while, it was, so let's see, this was probably at some point while I was at uni. It was just that little bit kind of along the Clyde, roundabout like the Tradeston area, just by like near the financial district of Bromley Law, where everything had been done up really nicely. I think there was a whole summer where I spent quite a few evenings there, just because either with myself, just on my own, or with different friends, just because it was just really peaceful, sitting there in front of the river, having the sun set, appreciating the fact that all of the money spent there was kind of in an effort to kind of heal that divide that the Clyde kind of creates. There have been times where the place that kind of holds special value to me is places in Africa where I'm visiting family. And I think that kind of leads on to the real place is anywhere that feels like home. So whether I'm with my family or my close friends or any of my relatives, just a place that I can associate those good memories of just kind of being myself and enjoying like a close connection to people. It just so happens that it's just been lots of different places. It's not been any one place in particular.
A place that holds special value to me is Bangladesh, the country that my parents were born in, and the country I went to 3 years ago. Spent 7 weeks there, no Wi-Fi, no connection to anybody, in the deep south where the jungle is, like in the village, and it was beautiful. I loved every second of it, apart from the mosquito bites. That's no one will tell you they like that. The heat was 40 degrees, but it's honestly amazing. It's beautiful. It's clean air and beautiful skies every single day. And you see how people live differently, completely differently to us. And it just makes me kind of realize, like, I look at the muddy hills and I'm like, that's hills that my parents ran around in bare feet. It actually gives me the chance to like humanize my parents as little kids, because it's so hard to think about our parents as like, in the same position as us. So to go there and see them to imagine them as me is very cool and very humbling.
Yeah, I'm gonna say my area, the area I grew up in. Like I said before, I was born in Malawi, but I grew up my whole life in Glasgow, especially in an area in the east of Glasgow called Shettleston. That's where, I was always that kid. I was never a kid that was always inside playing consoles, PS2 or whatever. I was always out playing football, on the street, playing Kirby and stuff, or, I was always out playing with like action figures with my friends in that area. And it's where I lived, it was a kind of area, it was like a street, like, houses on this side, houses on that side. So all the neighbors were kind of all friendly. We were all kind of like a family. We all knew each other. So it was there where I, learned how to play football, obviously come from a foreign country. We didn't know a lot of things. We learned a lot of things from our neighbors. We had great neighbors, my parents learned a lot, just simple things like I remember my mom telling me, like, they didn't know where Asda was. They didn't know what Tesco was and stuff like that. But, our neighbors showed us around, and, that community, did my first music video there, stuff like that. So I've got a lot of memories there. So that place I'd always want to give back to. I don't stay there anymore, but I always want to give back to there and one day. And yeah, that place is definitely in my heart forever.
I think that I'll pick my hometown, Kicker Hill, but Scotland more broadly, just because there's no sort of like I said before, it's just pure luck where we're born and where we end up, like what family we're born to, what all those things. So it's sort of special to me for that reason, because it's totally arbitrary that I'm where I am and I have all the things that I have. And it could have been better, but it could have been way worse. There's nothing physically special about my hometown. There are so many small towns with nothing to do. But it's where I grew up and sort of like made lots of friends and memories, and it's where my family still are.
I don't know. I wouldn't say it again. I wouldn't say specifically. Anywhere with snow is always going to make me happy. But like a weird one, for instance, I moved a lot around when I was younger. So we were never really in the same home, or I wasn't in the same home for longer than maybe like 4 or 5 years. So like, even the house that my parents still now, they've been there now for 11 years. But I was only there for 3. So like it's not so much as a place, like a specific location that has value. It's like these places, any place can become like a special place when you've done something there with people or certain people. Like there's certain places that Sam and I, we did the NC 500 earlier in the year, and there's certain places that I would love to, go back and like up at like Balnakeil Bay. Like it was really, really nice time up there, that kind of thing. So it's more of like moments than locations, I guess.
Because of that, Paris, because he was Parisian, and a particular garret flat in the Montmartre. He wasn't out yet to his parents, so he got an Airbnb, and it turned out to be one of these garret flats up in the eaves of this tenement building in Paris, in the Montmartre area. And he met me off the plane. We couldn't keep our hands off each other. We had an amazing night, let's just say, just making love under the stars of Paris, because it was like a louvered window so I could see the stars, and just so romantic. And then in the morning, I opened the window and there was the dome of the Sacré-Cœur. It's just, the whole area of the Montmartre and Abbesse is just my favorite part of Paris. Incredibly romantic. And yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Probably the word home is in my head, but the word home for me has different meanings. Like, I equate home with mostly where my family is, to be honest. Like, I grew up in the Philippines and I was born there. And to me, in many ways, that's home. Like, when I'm here in Scotland, I'm like, yeah, that's home. But then when I'm back there in the Philippines and I talk about home, I talk about Scotland. So I realized, like, home to me is where my family is, or where my base is. And that to me is special. But I would say the most special place would have to be the Philippines for me, because it's just it's where I was born. And moving here, I think I was like 7 years old when I moved here. And many times, like, growing up, I would feel like the Philippines is just an imaginary place, or a place that like it's only in my imagination. If I hadn't been there in ages, I would feel that it would just be in my imagination, because the vibe in the Philippines is just it's so different. Like, you just know when you're there, and I visualize it in my head, like exactly what that place feels like. So yeah, the Philippines would be a very special place to me.
You might know this place, actually. There's a place called Lantau Peak in Hong Kong, and it's this peak. You need to take like a bus somewhere, and then you can hike up the thing, and basically it overlooks the Bay of Hong Kong. And if you hike up during the night, you can see the sunrise. And the reason it has significance to me is because I went to Hong Kong before I started my degree at college, and before many of the life's events that I just described. So Coco, meeting my girlfriend, and all these things happened to me, and I wasn't really in a particularly good place. And I went up to that peak with they weren't really friends, they were acquaintances, on the last day I was there. And what I remember was that standing on top of the peak, downwards to the left, there is Hong Kong Airport. In the far distance, you can see Hong Kong skyline. And to the right of the peak, downwards, was a Buddhist monastery. And I was standing on this peak as the sun came up, and the monk started chanting, and it sort of drifted up this hill. And I remember it because I stood there for we were way too early. We were like 2 or 3 hours too early for the sunrise. So I spent a lot of time just sort of staring and contemplating and thinking about, now I'm here, tomorrow I'll go back to Europe. You can jump on a plane and be everywhere you want within 24 hours. So that is a place that holds some significance to me as an intersection of sort of different places and modes of being. That sounds super hippie, but
Hey everyone, thanks for watching, and I will post the social media links below if you want to follow us, but most importantly, I hope this gives you an understanding of perhaps how you'd like to answer these questions yourself, and encourage conversation with your close friends and family as well. I hope to see you next time.